Hey Scorpio, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so we take what works and we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch a wavelength on this reasoning, check your other major placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also, I'll post pictures at the end if you want to look at those. And we're going to get going with this Oracle Mystical Moments deck for an intuitive vibe of where we're going today. Oh, this is funny. Right off the bat, you don't want to talk about it. You're tired of communication. You're listening, but is anybody listening to you? You've got something you want to say. You got something you want to bring close to your heart, but nobody seems to be paying any attention. This is, can you hear me? You are exhausted. Wait a minute. Yeah, we'll just go this way. You're exhausted from some sort of communication, trying to express yourself, not being seen, not being heard. You've grown a lot and nobody noticed. So, and you may have been trying to communicate, trying to share something, wanting to share something, and you either have stopped trying because this is really exhausting, you're taking a break from trying because it's clearly not getting anywhere, or you're just looking at the possibility of trying and you're like, oh, why bother? This looks like way too much effort. So there's some sort of, but still you're out here. You're out here with your little conch shell and you've grown and you've changed, and look at this big spiral you've grown here. This is a lot of emotional growth, but having difficulty communicating. And of course, communication is a two-way street. So it's a little bit of a ball game. You know, you throw something and somebody catches it, and they throw it back to you, and you go back and forth like that. But both people have to be wanting to play the game. They both have to be paying attention. They both have to have their gloves. They both have to, you know, be dexterous enough to make this work. I don't think playing catch with me would be a very good idea. Communication with me might be a good idea, but catch with me would not be a good idea. I've never been really good at balls. I like throwing, catching, hitting. I don't know. They move too fast. Swimming I can do, but anything involving a ball. Anyway, but you know, something can go wrong on either end of that. Either somebody doesn't want to throw or somebody doesn't want to catch. Somebody walks off the field. Somebody forgot their gloves. So every single time you throw something, it hurts way too more than it should, and it's not fun for anybody. So anyway, there's communication problems. Can you hear me is the name of the card. Trying to express yourself, trying to get something out, express something, and just not being able to. And here, I think one thing you're trying to express is this deep-seated thing that's been with you for a long time. This gift usually refers to our gift that we're here to bring to the world, to the universe, to give to the world. As part of our adventure here. It's like going to a party and we're going to bring a party gift, right? And we're here to bring it and to share it and to give it. And if it's a bottle of wine, maybe the hostess will open it and share it with everybody, you know? But this is something that you've been very committed to. It's with you for life. It's like an idea maybe that you've had for a very long time, something that's been on your mind for a long time. You've been typically very protective of it and not even trying to share it. So this is before you share the gift. And it looks like you might be wanting to bring your gift into the world. I think, you know, it is very difficult to have a gift and not have the opportunities to bring it into the world. This is why I think, you know, blogs and YouTube channels and all of that is so good for most of us on the whole, because it allows us to bring things into the world without first having to seek permission or without, it satisfies that part of ourselves. Now, some of that stuff should not be out in the world. I definitely have opinions about sharing your personal issues on social media, but those are just my opinions, not part of this tarot read. But anyway, there is something you'd like to share, and I'm a fan of vague booking. If you need to share, but you can't share details out of respect for other people involved and whatever, I think that's fine. If you need support, but you also don't want to cross any boundaries, I think vague booking is a fine way to get that. Yep. Anyway, so there may be some vague booking going on here, but there's something that you want to share. There's something, I mean, we're getting that with Can You Hear Me too, but this is like an idea that's very close to you, that's been part of who you are for a long time, and you'd really like to share that with somebody. You've been maybe protective of it in the past, but now you're changing and now you want to share it, and you may not know how to go about doing that. You may not be finding the opportunities you want to do that. This idea is something that you've had for a while, but it is is in idea form. It's not physical yet. And then you have bloom. Well, you're listening. You've got your mitt on. You've got your glove on, and you're catching the communications, and you're feeling some frustration that maybe someone's not catching back, and no one's playing catch with you. You're just out here catching everybody else's stuff. Bloom is deep listening, focused listening, listening to understand, listening to sort of the background noise of the universe, the things going on in the background, the things connecting some dots, understanding things. Your mind is opening. This is a very much an opening of the mind. There might be intuitive or even psychic communication going on here. You're definitely listening. You might be a little guarded in your listening, especially if nobody's listening to you right now. You might be a little guarded in that, and a little irritated. But something beautiful is coming out of this irritation. I see you kind of relaxed too. I'm toggling between relaxed and guarded. So maybe some of you guys are just like, okay, yeah, tell me more. And others of you are like, oh, is that it, really? Is that how it is? Interesting. Tell me more. So you guys are having some communication, a desire to communicate, and a desire to listen, learning, mind opening, and really wanting to communicate it, but not necessarily having the right venue to communicate, not necessarily having the people around you that you want to communicate with. Maybe being at quite a distance from someone you'd like to communicate with. Oh, I see that in the gift and can you hear me? There might be some distance involved. And that's why this bloom card could be some psychic communication with somebody at a distance. We're not talking schizophrenia. We're talking something quite different. It'll feel different. You'll feel safe. You'll feel calm. If you're receiving some sort of message from somebody at a distance, you'll be feeling calm about it. All right. All right, Scorpio. This is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Wow. Well, all three of these cards are about communication problems, and then we've got more cards here about communication. Fascinating. So this whole thing, I mean, that's why I do there's just so much about communication issues right here. So in your recent past, you have this Three of Cups. You have this really soulful sharing, a choir, a band, just a group of friends and family getting together, loving each other's company, sharing deeply. Maybe this developed an expectation that this is what the future could hold for you. This beautiful, heartfelt sharing, these three cups, all different, what? Okay. I don't know. So there's the Moira here, the three fates singing together. I don't know why that would be. Yep. So hopefully that means something to somebody. So this sharing of the whole gamut of human emotion together, and really loving that sharing together and being together, and a deep emotional sharing. And then we have this Page of Swords here. This is your present situation. This is you playing around with communication, really. The sword is about truth, it's about honesty and a communication. So you might know something, and you might be, which you've heard and you've listened to, you might have something and you're trying to figure out how to communicate it. I mean, just basically these three cards, this is a card that summarizes the beginning of the read. Having something new in hand, or having something in hand and toying around with trying to play with it. I mean, look, she's like barely able to look at it. Like, is that the truth? That's true. Oh my goodness. And it's in my hand. What am I doing with this? Am I doing this right? Am I communicating properly? So the page is the learner, the beginning. So there might be just some beginning communications here, learning how to communicate with somebody. Maybe you're learning a new language. Maybe you're learning sign language and you're learning how to communicate with somebody, and you don't know how, if you're quite doing it right. Is your point really getting across? And we're seeing this can you hear me issue 2 right here. So So I'm feeling like this is the page is learning about communication, learning about some truth. You may have discovered some truth, which I would say is this thing. You may have discovered it. It's in your hand. You may have some truth, and you may be toying with the idea of communicating about it and trying to figure out how best to do that. So you have this Page of Swords. This could be a person external to you that also has some sort of truth and clarity and on something, and it's sort of shyly learning, you know, first day of school kind of vibe here with this Page of Swords, as far as like, oh boy, am I doing this right? Actually, it could be a teacher who's used to teaching in a classroom, and now you have a new way of communicating and you're not sure if your mic's on or what's going on. And so then this reading is just like, why don't I just say the word communication and then turn off the camera? Because that's basically the main thing that's going on here. This is your inner landscape. This is the 8 of Wands. And this is about fast-moving communication, maybe a lot of emails, a lot of text messages. This is miscommunication. And so you're hoping to communicate, but you might also be afraid of communicating. I mean, she's not like boldly holding this sword of truth and coming out with it and being like, yes! You know, and this is your hopes, fears, your inner landscape, what you're thinking about. You may be thinking about how to communicate something, how to talk about something, how to share something finally or at all. Like, and so you may be worried about misrepresenting something or miscommunication. This card is always to me about like, make sure you've opened your mail, make sure you've checked all your emails, make sure there could be something hidden, make sure you read your plane ticket. This card came out once when I had misread my plane ticket and missed my flight and ended up in New Orleans for 6 extra days that I could not afford because it was Jazz Fest and there were no flights out. So anyway, so this card had come out, and so that's what this is. You're worried about communication, miscommunication, clarity in communication, too much communication, too little communication. You're thinking about talking about something, and you're not sure how to do it. You're not sure where to go from there. What's at issue here? Well, this is why you might be having a problem communicating. You're dealing with the reverse King of Cups. So the King of Cups in the upright is emotional maturity, a Zen ability to handle the tumult of our emotions, to ride above it. There's this roiling thing in here, and we use it. We don't tame it by beating it to death and controlling it. We tame it by listening to it, understanding it, getting some clarity from it, absorbing the information that our emotions are trying to give us about what's going on in our environment and about who we are and what our real identity is. So that's the King in the upright. We're dealing with him in the reverse. So in the reverse, he's nothing like that. You know, he's volatile, unable to handle his emotional liquor, is suppressing love, suppressing his intuition. This could be someone around you that just is really bad at communicating, doesn't want to hear it, doesn't care, and can't handle clear communication very well. And that's why you're like, oh gosh, how do I say what I need to say? Oh boy, I've got something to say and I don't know how to say it because this guy's not going to take it well any way I try. But it's that ball game aspect that we were talking about earlier, is that you're only half the ball game. You got to throw the ball. You got to handle your truth. You got to express your truth, and we don't get any say and any control in how people respond to that. That's their side of the ball game. So you can throw perfectly, perfect thrower, and if your catcher doesn't want to catch, this catcher looks like they walked off the field, threw their glove down, maybe spit on you and stomped their foot, cursed you out and walked off the field because maybe your throw wasn't 100% Perfect. Maybe they had to like reach out their hand a little bit to catch what you were saying. But effort's got to go in on both sides. So I don't know which side exactly you're on, but effort's got to go in on both sides. Someone does not want to put in the effort to communicate, to share their love, or to deal with their feelings. They're shit at dealing with their feelings. They're just crappy at it. They have a bad attitude about their feelings. They're easily overwhelmed by them. They might even have a drinking problem. I mean, that goes hand in hand with emotional immaturity. And then, so you don't know what to do with your emotions or how to handle them. You don't have tools to handle them. And so alcohol can be, or other drugs can become the tool, the only tool that you know, because you just, for whatever reason, weren't able to develop healthy mechanisms for dealing with some of our more difficult and unpleasant emotions. So we can turn to alcohol sometimes to numb them rather than cope with them and deal with them and use them the way they were meant to be used. In your environment, there's a stagnation here. It's a stagnation with a purpose. This is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is freeing himself, loosening his ties, his bonds, and freeing himself. So there's nothing happening externally right now, but preparations sort of behind closed doors are being made for you. I'm almost seeing an intervention here, but there's something. There's something being planned. It's not you. Somebody else is sort of planning maybe an escape. I don't get paranoid if you're not having, marital problems that would cause that much of an issue. But somebody's planning something or thinking of something, and you're not seeing it right now. It looks stagnant. It looks like nothing's going on right now, but something is going on. Something's changing. Somebody external to you is changing internally, and you can't see it yet. Your to-do list. Your to-do list is to come into Empress energy. This is self-sufficiency. This is Earth Mother. She has everything she needs. She lacks for nothing. And she's very happy, single or in a relationship. It doesn't matter. She's self-sufficient. She's not needy. She's not codependent. She doesn't need you to need her. She's not here to just solely to meet your needs. She can maybe meet you halfway there, but she knows what she wants. She knows what she needs. So you need to come into some sort of strong position of feeling like you do have everything you need. Even if the other person isn't catching your ball, you're still a good thrower, okay? And you're working on your throwing, and you can throw just fine whether or not anyone's catching it. And no matter what their behavior is over there, you are sure about your behavior here. And you're very self-sufficient, able to act on your own, able to have your own vision, your own dreams, your own ideas. Definitely, I'm seeing, especially with this King of Cups reversed, you need to come into, I don't know what we call it, but non-codependent energy of being very independent. That's what we call it. Non-codependent energy is being independent. That doesn't necessarily mean isolating. That doesn't mean isolating yourself. That doesn't mean saying, I don't need anybody. It just means like a calm, it's a very calm ownership of who you are, what you have, the resources at your disposal. But it's this, I would say, a calm ownership of who you are. You know who you are. So this is your to-do list, is to come into that energy, male or female. This is just an energy we're talking about of knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing that you do have power, and you have power over yourself. That's the part you can control, is yourself, is your efforts, what you want, and the things that you do. So where you're going here, possible outcome here, is this Knight of Wands, a very exciting, this is the sophomore of the group, an exciting offer, maybe a little too exciting, some very fast movement here, some eagerness, an eager thing beginning. And this is a person, maybe not the most mature person. It's not a king, but it is a knight. They have some maturity. They're very enthusiastic, fast moving, charismatic, coming in here with a wand. Maybe communication, since we've been talking about this. Maybe somebody comes in, and maybe this is you coming in with once you get centered and get into your power, you're coming in with some really positive energy here and an offer for somebody. Or this could be someone coming in with an offer for you. Once they see your strength and your power, they could be coming in. But again, I'm seeing this as a possible you because of this wand in the hand here, right? And the sword in the hand, and you offering something to the world and wanting to offer something to the world. But it's sort of a new opportunity, a new offering coming in here in the future. Either you're going to be doing that or someone around you is going to come in and doing that. I mean, they're still wearing their armor, so they're not like overconfident. Oh, they're wearing their armor because they're a little bit overconfident, and they tend to get hurt that way. So they're suited up. Because they understand they can be a little reckless. They're like your 18-year-old male driver who needs to carry a little extra insurance because that's the way they are. On their insurance policy, needing a little extra because they might be a little bit reckless. All right, so Scorpio, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes and your subscribes and your comments. I very much appreciate them, and I hope you have a wonderful week.